the new show, I'm bringing you entertainment, guests and advice on health and beauty. We all need inspiration now. We will look at how to live your life and love your life. Hello everyone, welcome to the Ramadan special of the Halimah show. Thank you so much for joining us once again today. So today's guest is someone I've known for a few years, and as each year grows, so does the brand. Let's talk to the CEO of Spice Village and Grand Saphire. Hello Suleman. So how are you doing today?
I'm very well. Obviously I'm fasting, but it's going really well.
Good, that's good. It must be hard to fast when you've got all the food around you.
Oh yes, you have to live with so many smells.
Oh gosh, that's a hard fast, a strong fast.
True.
Alhamdulillah. So tell me Suleman, I think I'd like to know what got you into this whole business. You've got obviously the catering side, you've got banqueting side, restaurant side. What were you doing before you started all this, and what made you enter this, or have you always done this?
Obviously, when I came to this country back in early 2000, I was looking for probably somewhere to find work, and I started working in a restaurant as a chef. So that's how it's all started.
Oh,
and
wow. So you can cook?
Yes. So that's how the whole thing started. So and that's how my love for the food started growing. And so I worked in a restaurant for almost 3 years before I opened my own restaurant.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I always kind of set myself an ambition as soon as I started working in someone's restaurant that one day I will have my own.
Wow.
So that's how it all started.
So this is very quick to jump.
Yes, if you're ambitious, you know, 3 years is
true.
not that bad.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
So then you just you opened Spice Village immediately?
Yes, so I opened Spice Village in Tooting. That was only a 16-seater restaurant. So I used to work obviously on my own, doing all sorts of work, mopping, cleaning, washing pots, serving on the tables, cleaning the tables, cooking in the morning, and then working till quite late hours to make sure everything's clean and nicely tidy up before we close the restaurant. So that's how it all started, and then I continued with my passion of cooking and creating new dishes, new recipes.
What dishes were they?
One of the key signature dishes are masala fish, which is our very secret recipe.
Which I love.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you can vouch for it.
That's so tasty.
So we had, we worked quite hard to develop this recipe, and our customers travel from quite far just to have this fish, especially. And then we have some other traditional dishes, and a lot of our dishes are very traditional and very authentic Pakistani dishes. So
were your parents cooks?
Yes. No, not my mum was a very good cook, and she still is. And in fact, I was quite inspired from her initially because back in Pakistan we never used to eat from outside. We always used to prefer eating at home. And my mum always used to cook very nice dishes, and she always used to encourage us to eat at home. And now we realize the importance of it as we are growing. We realize how important it is to eat at home and how healthy the food which we eat at home. And I think a lot of our recipes which we are currently producing in our restaurant are inspired from my mum. And I still ask her, and she's probably my judge, and she's the one who tells us, okay, how far do you need to go, less or more spices, add more, reduce this.
Oh, that's so nice.
So this is why the compliments we get from the customers is like home taste of our cooking.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, because I know Spice Village. I'll be honest, that the food that sometimes my daughters and I have ordered out, and Spice Village is something that I've asked specifically to send over because we've tasted a lot of other takeaways, and obviously I cook at home, we cook at home, all of us, and it's just not the same food that you get in the restaurants, but Spice Village is top.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So then once you did the Spice Village restaurants, then you opened a banqueting suite, which is where we are at the moment. How did this happen?
So like I said, when we opened up the restaurant, so thanks to God, things started working out nicely for us, and we continued growing our business. We opened a few other branches of the restaurant in different areas like Southall, East London, and then we got into the outdoor catering and events business. And as soon as we got into the events, I realized because our parent branch was in South London, I thought there was a great gap in the market for having our own banqueting suite. So I kind of started looking around for a place, and finding a place of this size is always a challenge, and it was a very difficult task. So it took me a few years to find a place like this, which I could possibly offer for almost 1,200 capacity.
And with parking.
With parking and all that. And a lot of the time people ask us, it's such a nice venue, and why it can't be in the middle of the city. And the obvious answer is you can never find the expense and the parking. You can't find these things in the ideal location. So when we found this place, it was quite a depleted building. It was an ex-MOT centre for a Croydon Council. So we converted it into a banqueting suite. It took us almost 3 years. So we worked day and night, almost spent...
3 years is a special number for you.
Yes, kind of, yes.
Yeah.
So we found the place in 2013. So by the time we set it up, refurbished the whole thing, it was 2016, and that's when we opened up.
Yeah, I came for the opening. I did henna for the opening.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, so you remember.
Oh, wow, yeah, it's gone really quickly. And then that's amazing. So we've got Spice Village, we've got Grand Saphire, and now during this lockdown, we've got a whole new concept, which is the drive-through. And again, because of the space as well and the parking, you've been able to do this in South London. Tell us a little bit about why you came to choose this and how is it going?
Yes, as you know, because of the lockdown, pretty much all the restaurants have been struggling for business for almost a whole year now. And even our business, we've been surviving on takeaways and deliveries. So as we have a massive car park on site, I was observing a lot of customers coming to collect their food and they're consuming it within their cars, within our car park. And I was seeing them once they finish their food, they're pretty much coming out of the car, trying to clean their cars, there's spillages, this and that. So I was working on this idea for some time now. How can possibly offer them a solution so that they can avoid the spillages and have food in the car comfortably. And at the same time, obviously we were struggling for business. So probably an idea which can generate some business for us, and we can still offer customers good food and have them having that sort of experience which they're currently missing due to the lockdown of going into the restaurant. So that was probably something which kicked off the whole idea. And so obviously with this idea, I'm sure it's gone viral, and people are traveling from all over the country to try this concept.
My daughters have heard it on TikTok, so that means it's doing well.
Yes, and some of the videos have got millions of views on them. And people are just turning up from left, right, centre, all over the country. So it's been going amazing.
Again, I did come last week with my daughters, and the food was really good.
Thank you.
Really, really good. A few men had said to me, "Oh, won't it smell in the car?" And it's funny that men mentioned it. None of the women said this. The men said, "Won't it smell in the car? And it's going to make a mess." But because you've got the windows open, there's no smell in the car, just to confirm.
It goes out, yes.
And obviously it's nice plates and the food is fresh. So I think that's been a good success. So well done on that, Suleman.
Thank you so much.
And then a few more questions is, obviously it's Ramadan, and last year I organised some food for the NHS, Epsom and St Heliers Hospital. They've been really, really helpful with that. So this year you're providing some of the meals for the NHS. And I'm sure you're doing it across the country, but how did that start about, Suleman?
Obviously, I'm a food person, and I understand how important food is for everyone working hard, especially the NHS and key workers who are working at the front line. So as soon as the lockdown happened last year in March, and there was a news on some newspaper that there's a nurse who was crying her tears out because the canteens were shut at 5 p.m. and there was not much food available in the hospitals. So that really kind of touched me so much that I have to do something, and especially when I'm in the food business, it really connected me to that significant moment. So I started cooking meals for all those people around me, and initially, just locally to Croydon Hospital, Epsom and St Heliers and all those sorts of hospitals. And then as soon as we started offering meals to these hospitals, the demand started coming from everywhere else, and because there were not many people able to offer meals to these restaurants, and majority of them were doing it through fundraising and help from companies and sponsors and all sorts of things. But I felt that we were fortunate that we could do it ourselves initially. So I continued doing it myself up to a certain level, and that's when I got support from a lot of big sponsors. So I managed to get a lot of celebrities attracted to it. So we had I have a good friend, David Beckham. So I reached out to him, and he
never told me that.
Oh yes, so I reached out to him, and he spread the news for me, and that's what really broke out the news in the whole country. So pretty much all the big newspapers, almost 40 to 50 newspapers covered the news. So BBC came to cover the news, and I was reported on that. The Telegraph, the Sky News, so you name it, pretty much we were everywhere. And then managed to grow a network of other restaurants throughout the country who also wanted to take part in the supporting the NHS and the key workers. As you know, the nation heavily relies on these key workers and these NHS people who really work hard to save these precious lives of our friends and families. So I really felt that we need to support them. We really need to give that message to them.
To help us,
yes. So we need to give them that message that we're there for them, and we're there to support them, and in whatever capacity we can. Because I'm a food person, I'm a food producer. So I thought probably serving them food at this particular time will keep the energies going.
Especially in Ramadan time.
Yes.
That's did you provide it outside of Ramadan, or is it just
No, we did it throughout Ramadan. We did it before Ramadan, and we're still continuing in our capacity. Obviously the demand has gone down, but the kind of messages we were getting every time the food was going out to these hospitals, especially we do halal food, and a lot of these NHS staff and key workers are Muslims, and I know there were a few other companies who were also providing food, but majority of that was not halal.
Yeah, not tasty.
And some people can say yes. So what made our unique was because it was halal, it was HMC, and people were really looking forward to it. We were getting requests from Scotland, Liverpool, Manchester, even though we can't reach that far. But people were so excited to get halal food from us. And the other thing was we were cooking really fresh food, last minute cooking and delivering it to the hospital, doorsteps, key workers, fire brigade, ambulance drivers, all sorts of places.
Everyone, that's brilliant. No, that's really nice to hear. So this year, hopefully, I'm going to do some helping out with that. And I know that exactly the staff was so grateful last year because the food was fresh, it's halal, and even non-Muslims as well. Muslims, non-Muslims, they're all welcome to Iftar. So it kind of covered a whole diverse group of people, not just Muslims.
True.
So I think that's really, really good, because especially at a time now when we're trying to promote Islam as being a peaceful religion, I think this is the best way to go forward. And then another thing I wanted to hit on was, will you carry on after the pandemic, or is it just going to maybe, do you have I think you wanted to mention someone as well, like a donor who was, is it 1 million?
Meals, yes. That's obviously my charity. So when I started last year, I named it 1 million meals.
Oh, amazing.
And that's what I have an ambition to continue serving, not just the NHS people, because obviously once the pandemic is over, and already we're saying the demand is going down. So I have an ambition to continue serving homeless people. And we've been doing it previously as well, or we aim to continue doing that. And we're ready for any sort of this kind of situation in future. God forbid, if there's anything in future, we're always there. And we think, whatever we are today, and being a Muslim, our main, I think, a key responsibility is to look after people around us, and no matter what's their religion and race is. And we're living in UK, and there's a report on Financial Times that there's over 2 million people living under the poverty line. which is ridiculous. You are living in the United Kingdom
Yeah.
and it's Great Britain,
Yeah.
and we're so keen to support people who are living overseas.
Yeah.
However, we need our first
Yeah,
duty
where
is
we
to look
live.
after the people who are around us.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
think I'm going to continue doing that.
That's good.
And like this year, you're also supporting and providing meals to the hospitals. And if there's any sort of demand still coming in, we're up for it.
Yeah.
We're always supporting people around us, and especially the NHS people. Like I said, without them, probably none of us would be here.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So
I mean, again, you were talking about, supporting homeless and other projects. I know at the moment I've been working closely with some people in Kingston, and the mental health issue is such an issue, especially because of lockdown, people out of jobs, and husband and wives, families are not able to support themselves or their families.
True.
So I'll put you in touch with them as well,
Yeah,
Suleman.
definitely.
They're in Kingston, as far as I know for now.
well, I thought you did. We did some support to some charity. They were homeless or
The refugees,
Refugees,
yes,
yes.
Care for Calais.
Care for Calais,
So they're
yes.
a show that that we've had them as guests on the show.
Okay.
So yeah, Care for Calais is, again, that's a whole different topic, but we did an interview with them, and they're such hard workers. So they really appreciated the food, and you can keep it coming.
I would advise beginners, youngsters, anyone who is looking to come into a business or set up some sort of, or have some sort of ambition, is probably try and be honest and do what you're good at. I think once you know what you're good at, the passion adds up, and I think there's no shortcut which one can adopt. There's only probably one in millions who could probably jump up the queue by using a shortcut. So keep working hard, stay honest, and keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suleman, for being on the show and being so inspiring. I found out a lot more today than I've known in the past. And say hello to David Beckham for me.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for the video we've got in store, a little recipe, and I will see you after the video. Thank you.
Today we're going to show you how to make smoked chicken lollipops with the most incredible barbecue tandoori glaze. As always, great dishes require great meat, so grab yourself some skin-on chicken drumsticks. And in order to get them to stand up, you want to just chop off the end. You can keep these end pieces for biryanis and plows, etc. So don't throw those ones away. Next, we want to make an incision just around the leg at the top. So just score your knife around the bone at the top, cutting through the skin and the tendons there, and then just use your knife to scrape along the bone, and you'll see the skin and the meat will come really nicely and cleanly off. Last step, which really helps, is just to grab a paper towel, because the skin and the tendons are quite slippery, and just pull off the rest. And simply repeat that process for however many drumsticks you have on hand. Each leg should only take you about 30 seconds or so it's relatively quick. Next step is to gather all the ingredients for our glaze. Now this glaze is really versatile. It has a barbecue-y type flavor with that Asian tandoori element. So if you're a fan of those flavors, then you're really gonna love this, and it goes with a lot of different things. Simply grab all the ingredients, combine in a pan, and leave it on there for about 5 to 10 minutes or so. Should thicken up to this kind of consistency, and then once you've got it there, just brush onto all of your chicken lollipops. You want to be quite light with the coating initially. Reason being, we're going to cook this on a smoker. You can equally cook this in an oven. It doesn't have to be on a fancy barbecue. But for us, keeping that first coat quite light will allow the smokiness in the barbecue to enter the chicken and give it that nice smoky flavor. So real simply, once your barbecue is up to temperature, just pop all the chicken legs standing up in there. If cooking this in a barbecue, then you want to aim for a temperature of around about 120 degrees, which is 250 F. That will give it a nice long time for the smoky flavor to enter the meat. Reapply your glaze every 10 to 15 minutes to build up that flavor. Our total cook time was around about 1 hour, 1 hour 10. If cooking this in an oven, I would use exactly the same procedure and process. Put your oven at about 120 degrees Celsius, and every 10 to 15 minutes just apply a thin layer of your glaze. And that's it. It's a very simple recipe. It's a very simple dish, and it has fantastic, incredible results. I really hope you guys give this one a try. And if you do, tag us and let us know. We'd love to see what you're coming up with. Take care.
I hope you all enjoyed that video. It looked delicious. Send me in your pictures once you've made them, please. And thank you, Saffron Alley, for sending us such a delicious recipe. Today wasn't Suleman an inspiring guest? I hope it inspires you all to follow your dreams and passions. Stay tuned and hope to see you soon. Take care.